So when this video comes out, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is less than a week away, and at this point, aside from a handful of in-game events, we've pretty much seen everything from the menus to the full roster to the gameplay and even parts of the story mode. At this point, the only questions have become what comes after the game comes out, most importantly, the DLC. Right now, all we know about Sparking Zero's DLC is that there will be at least 3 separate DLC packs with more than 20 characters being added, seemingly only from Dragon Ball Daima and Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Today, I'd like to share my thoughts on what I think these DLC packs might look like and who we'll get for them. If you're excited for Sparking Zero like I am, or just a Dragon Ball fan, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. To begin, it's important to figure out just how many characters are going to be in each DLC pack so we can effectively divide them up so we don't just list a million characters and go way over the limit. Seeing 20 plus tells me that the number ultimately is going to be less than 30. Assuming that each DLC pack is around the same size, each pack would then probably have around 8 characters in them, give or take, which would add up to 24 characters. Of course, 2 DLCs could have 10 and another could have 9, but that would still end up being less than 30. But you guys get what I mean. Of course, they can totally just change their mind and add more characters later, but for now, my final list will have no more than 30 characters. Also, because they specifically say Daima and Superhero, I will only be making this list based off of those series. So Super 17, Pikkon, or Bio Broly fans, you're gonna have to wait for a potential 4th DLC. With that out of the way, let's begin with the Superhero DLC pass. For Superhero, we can immediately add the only 2 confirmed DLC characters that we've been told about so far, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I can totally see them doing like a Pokemon Red and Blue thing where they split the Gammas between 2 different DLC packs to make you buy both, but if they're not releasing these packs at the same time, then they'll likely just go in at the same time. Next, we can add Cell Max. He has no forms, and Sparking Zero already has giant forms, so there's no issue there. Once we get past those 3 though, it gets weird with Gohan and Piccolo. Both of them have a lot of forms and transformations in this movie, and so 2 of them alone can take up more than half of the potential superhero roster spots if all of their forms are used. If every form of Gohan is used, that's instantly 4 DLC slots taken up for Base, Super Saiyan, Ultimate Gohan, and of course, Beast Gohan. Piccolo is almost the same, adding another 4 with Base Form, Power Awakening, Orange, and Giant Form Orange Piccolo. With just those guys, we are already at 11 DLC slots, nearly half the potential characters added in just 3 packs. Now, Superhero doesn't offer many characters beyond this. I don't think Hedo is getting a spot, but I do think the other Hybrid Saiyans could come to the game with Pan, and then the aged up new designs of Goten and Trunks, and then maybe Fat Gotenks could all totally be DLC. While Krillin and 18 are also there, they can easily just be costumes as they don't actually use any new moves or look any different besides the clothing that they're wearing in the movie. This puts us at essentially exactly 15 characters for Superhero, which makes the dividing into 3 DLCs a bit messy, but we'll go over my thoughts on that a bit later. For now, let's look at Daima. Now, for this part, I will not be using any leaks for Daima, and only be referring to officially released statements and information about the series, and then maybe making some logical assumptions based on what I've seen. I know there have been some crazy things said about Daima with new forms and characters that we haven't been shown yet, but until we're told about them or shown them, I know nothing. Right off the bat, I think Goku Mini is the obvious first addition to the DLC, allowing him to be attained if you didn't pre-order the game. Based off of trailers, Mini Goku goes at least Super Saiyan 1 and potentially Super Saiyan 2 in Daima. I think it's fair to assume that he'll probably use Super Saiyan 3 at some point, making him take up 4 spots. The next addition that I think is pretty self-explanatory are the characters tagging along with Goku in Daima that have been shown, like Pansy and Glorio. I can't really say much about these guys because the show is not out yet, but they are clearly going to be pretty important, so it'd feel weird to have a Daima DLC that does not add these guys. Next, we can look at the confirmed villains, or who we can assume to be villains who will be in Daima, so far being Goma, Degesu, and Dr. Renzu. This brings us up to 24 characters, and these hypothetical last couple of spots could go really anywhere. There are clearly enemies in Daima we haven't seen yet, and even Dr. Rinzu and Goma don't look like fighters. While they could end up being like Babidi is, there's a very high chance they have henchmen like Dabura who could take up those last couple of spots or outright replace them on the roster just because they do actually fight. There's also Mini Vegeta, Mini Supreme Kai, and Mini Piccolo, who seem to be getting a more attention than the other mini characters, so they may end up getting in the game, and Mini Vegeta might take up multiple spots if he transforms just like Goku does. Now, personally, if I wanted to save space, there are plenty of things to do. Piccolo and Gohan could just start at Ultimate and Power Awakening to save a couple spots. After all, Ultra Instinct Goku in Sparking Zero is a separate character for this very reason, probably. And again, who knows who will actually be a relevant fighter in Daima. Still though, due to how both series can easily be filled with about the same amount of characters, I wouldn't be surprised the DLC isn't strictly divided by series of Daima and Superhero, but actually a mix of both. Because if not, do you think Superhero will only get one DLC with like 10 characters in it while Daima gets 2? I'm just not so sure. Of course, they can easily end up doing more DLC in the future though. Just look at how many DLCs Xenoverse 2 has and is still continuing to get. Again, assuming at around 10 character DLC pack at most, here would be my list for the missing characters themed DLC pack, because there is no way to make it so they fit together thematically, because the missing characters are from all over the place. I tried to balance missing GT characters, movie characters, and OG Dragon Ball characters. For a few of them, I don't list the forms because Sparking Zero could easily do away with them without too much of an issue. But I think Super 17, Rildo, Pikkon, Bio Broly, King Piccolo, Mercenary Tao, Pilaf Machine, Arale, Shin, and then Grade 8 forms for Saiyans who don't currently have them could totally be a DLC. Either way, this is my final list as it stands right now. Maybe come back to this in a couple months and see how correct I was. Finally, and as always, I just wanted to give a big shout out and a thank you to the members on this channel. Your support means so much. Either way, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.